Hello folks, welcome to What's New with Microsoft 365 and Teams. For the 2-week period, 28th of August to the 11th of September, we're covering 2 weeks in one go because Microsoft have been a little bit quiet over the summer, but now we've got enough to be getting on with. First thing I just want to tell you about is a slight change to the way some of the updates are shared. So somebody has been discussing with me the so what. So we talk about the updates, and the person was like, well, what problem does it solve? What does it make better? Why do I care? And it's a good question, really. And we started taking this into some of our updates. Look at the screen now. This update starts off with, are you a regular forms user? Locating the form you want can take longer than it should until now. So what we're trying to do today is just head off why you should read on. So is it for you? Is it going to solve a problem you've got? Is it going to make something better? Will it be? Is it of use to you? So look out for that on the updates, and hopefully we're going to make the updates a little bit more personalised to you. So let's get on with the updates. So you can see we've got our regular timelines here, and we've got a handful of updates. It seems like it's the forms show. I think I've seen as many forms updates in the past month or so than I have in the past 6 months. So obviously behind the scenes they're doing a lot of work on forms. Then we're going to have our bite size. So we don't have ones to watch because there just wasn't enough to put in there. So I pushed a couple of the ones to watch into the bite sized, but I didn't want to have that section for the sake of it. So let's have a look at our first revised timelines. So Whiteboard. So this is about the Whiteboard getting saved to your OneDrive for Business. So I think this is going to open up a few things. It makes it better and easier for your organization to manage that file. But I think it's also going to pave the way to have multiple whiteboards in Teams meetings. So when you have breakout rooms, at the moment we just have the one whiteboard. But I think this will pave the way to have multiple whiteboards just because of the way they're getting saved. Now it's optional initially, so you can opt in late October, but then will become the default in the new year. Okay, so straight onto our full updates. Forms collections. So we just talked about this one. So it can be difficult to find your forms. You go into forms and you just have this great big list of forms. Now, forms collections is going to allow you to create a collection, and then you can put your forms into this collection so they're nice and easy to find, so you can manage them, group them, and archive them if you want to. Let's just have a closer look at this on here. You can see there that we've got a form and we're going to push it into one of these collections. So this is going to be available on web and on mobile, and you can look out for that from the end of September till late November. Quite a long tail for a web app. That's quite a long tail. Maybe the November part of it is for the app. Okay, talking about forms and apps, the experience when you look at forms at the moment, when you look at it on a screen, it isn't great. So when you look at the web version on your mobile device, the app itself, the screen's just too small for the way it's laid out. Now, for form designers, people who create forms or analyze them, you're going to get a new experience. Now, it's optimized for smaller screens. Now, this applies to the web version and mobile. So a couple of different dates here. So the web version is going to be earlier, so look out for that in October. Now, the mobile app is going to be a little bit later than that, and you're looking at late November. Okay, so the Forms Word Cloud poll for Teams meetings. So I really like this, and people that I've shown this to already think it's really nice. So it's a little bit out of mind, but you have got the ability to push a poll from Forms poll into your Teams meeting, and you're going to get a new type of question there, and it is the Forms poll. So if you're the kind of person who's always looking for ways to engage your audience or gauge your attendees on a session, or just liven up your meetings a little bit, then I like the look of this. So you're going to ask your question, people can answer. It is going to be anonymous, so whoever answered this one to say something is boring or same as usual, then you're not going to know who said that, but at least they can give you an honest answer, right? Due late September and early October. Now, while we're talking about the forms polls, that forms poll is going to get a new it's going to become an app. Okay, so Microsoft say that a lot of people don't know about the forms, the ability to create a forms poll and push it into your meetings. And I think I agree with that. I don't see it very often. So it'd be interesting to see whether this helps. So let's have a look at this. So this functionality is being promoted to be its own app. Okay, and when you look inside your Teams meetings and your chats, you're going to see this surfaced as polls. So rather than forms, you're going to see it just called polls, probably powered by forms or something like that. Look out for this late September to early October. So you can see there's a couple of nice things coming to polls. Okay, so I don't know if you noticed this on your team setups last week. Look at the top right hand corner in here. You can see I've got a P next to my avatar or photograph. So when I saw this, I wasn't sure what it was, but I noticed that I was in preview. So I'm in a developer and public preview there. When I turned it off, it went away. Turned it back on, it came back. So it's obviously signifying that I was in a preview mode in Teams, and that's useful because sometimes I'm in preview mode quite a lot, and I'll notice a feature, and I'll comment to people, "Oh, this new feature's come out," and they don't see it, and I'm like, "Oh, I've left myself in preview mode, and they haven't got it yet." So it's really good that you get that little visual indicator. So it just tells you that that you are in preview mode. In fact, you've zoomed in there a bit more. Now you might not get that, so let's just go back a little bit. You can see here that I've clicked on the ellipsis, gone to settings, I've gone to about, and then I've gone into that preview mode. If you don't see it, it's just that your admin for your tenant hasn't enabled it. But it's worth having a look, folks. If you're looking for a new feature, hop over onto preview and you might have it. Okay, so like I say, I already have it. When I shared that on Twitter, someone didn't have it, and then literally the next day they did. So look out for that. If you don't have it yet, you'll have that by the end of the month. Okay, so I do quite a few SharePoint pages, and it's sometimes tricky to get the images to sit nicely with your text, and you're going to get the ability to paste inline images into the text web part, so they can be close to the text. If you look over on the right here, they can be close to the text. It kind of wraps around it. There's also a couple of changes coming where they're reducing the line spacing between the header, the body text, and in between bullet points. I've got to be honest, I'm not sure what I think about this. I don't think that page looks great. It looks just like a screenshot of a Word document or something. I don't know. Let's see how it looks. From that preview that they've given us, I'm not super sure that that looks great. But who knows? It might look nicer in real life. Due early October for most of us, and it's interesting actually. We've been having quite a few little updates for SharePoint. So you can see from an editor point of view, these features have been trickling out. Okay, so onto the bite size. Now, before I do, I was going to do a new format this week, and I know that somebody's going to be looking at this video, Carrie, and you're going to be talking to me about the new format that we've just talked about, and you're not going to see it. Well, folks, what I want to do is, instead of having a bite-sized section and a revised timeline section, and then we've got some things further down the line when we look at the ones to watch, and we've got the full things, but I kind of jump all over the place with Teams and with SharePoint and everything else. What I'm going to do is we're going to talk about Teams. So if you're a Teams person, you can check in for the Teams, and then you can check out when you're done. But we'll tell you all about what's late, what's new, what's coming soon, just in Teams. Then we'll move on to, say, SharePoint, and then say to Forms. But there was so little going on this week, and actually some of the Forms ones kind of blended between Forms and Teams, that this wasn't a great week to try that new format. But look out for that next week, folks. I'm hoping that will be more useful. When we share the links, you can go to YouTube, and you can look in the description. You can hop to the product that you're interested in, learn all about that. And obviously, I hope that you watch the whole video. But if you just need that little bit, you can pop in, get it, and you can get back out. So not this week, but look out for that over the next couple of weeks or so. Okay, Microsoft Teams on iOS, they're retiring support for version 13 and below, so look out for that if you've got an older iPhone. So 202 Gallery in Teams on Safari browsers. Now, I'm not really an Apple person. I say not really, not even remotely. So I don't know whether this is going to be a big thing for you guys. I'm a bit surprised that you don't already have it, but hopefully if that means something to you, you'll be pleased to see it. Play my emails on Outlook. spotlight. So it's gonna spotlight or focus on the emails it thinks are more important, and will highlight those to you. Teams. Okay, so I don't see a lot of this. So you do have the ability to have supervised chats. Now I guess this is more popular in education than elsewhere, but it just means that someone is in charge of the chats. Now they get the ability to delete chats. So you know that when you're having a chat, folks, the chat's got to go and go and go, but you never delete the chats. Now the supervisor is going to get the ability to delete what other people have said. That's obviously got a useful place. When I think back to my daughter being schooled at home during COVID, occasionally the kids would say things that you'd raise an eyebrow at, and you would hope the teacher would deal with it, but they couldn't delete it. So I think this is quite a nice touch. Okay, so have you ever been on a Teams meeting when someone says, "Hey Mark, can you tell me about XYZ?" Okay, and you're just a little bit distracted maybe, and you can't find the mute button, and you just want to reach your headset, and you can't even find your mouse on the screen. Well, I think this is a great feature that's coming. So press Control and Spacebar, and you'll temporarily unmute. I'm guessing you'll have to hold it down. I don't know how the temporary bit works, whether you have to press it twice, but it says temporarily unmute. Will it last for a certain period of time? But I think that's great. If you get caught out, folks, Control, Spacebar, come off mute, say what you got to say. Maybe you say it again, maybe you hold it down. I'd say maybe press it again, sorry, maybe you hold it down while you're speaking. But I think a lot of people so many people have been caught out by that. We all do. And if you don't, then I don't believe you. But we will get caught out by that, so looking forward to that. And OneDrive, a new command bar, it's just going to surface those common commands quickly in OneDrive and make it a bit easier for you to use. So let's start wrapping up, and I first want to tell you about Commsverse. I've labelled this urgent because it happens in a few days, so let's have a quick look at what's there for you. So if you head over to Commsverse.com, and I'll put a link in the notes, I am presenting Wednesday morning. I'm going to talk about, is keeping up with Microsoft Teams a daily problem, or is it a really great engagement opportunity and a content opportunity to engage and work with your user community? Not surprisingly, I'm going to argue that it is a good opportunity, and I'm going to show you how we can use what comes from the admin center and the roadmap, and we can turn that into a way to create a community to get your users supercharged, get them sharing all those materials. We did something like this in one organization, and 1 in 8 people joined a Microsoft team where we talked about this, and that actually gave us really good penetration into the organization. How you can turn it into a course that people come back month after month after month to join. How you can create a learning hub in Teams and create a community in there. How you can create a site on SharePoint that people go to get all these updates, and how you can use this same content to really charge up your users. Now, of course, we tend to be talking about the new the new features, but of course it tags onto existing features, and we find it's a great way to get people up to speed with the applications. And then when you've got them together, they then talk about what they're using a feature for, the problem they think it will solve, and they then knowledge sharing. So this is almost like the anchor for that community, and I'm going to tell you how to do it. But first, you need to sign up for the session. Now, if you're super quick, there's a handful of in-person tickets left. I really do mean that. They're almost all gone. Now, if you can make it, it's down at Mercedes World in the south of England. It's, do you know what? Even if you don't even like Teams, folks, Mercedes World is worth going to for a couple of days. Also, the food is all laid on, and it looks amazing. They've shared the menu. It's really something to look forward to. So if you can get there in person, you can see there we're talking about the 15th and the 16th of September. Then it'd be great. And if you do see me there, come up to me and we'll speak. If you can't make it in person, you can see there you can become a virtual attendee. So get yourself signed up, whether you're coming in person or you're going virtual. Find my session. So just a reminder, it's Mark Thompson, and I'm in the adoption track. So go and find my session, and hopefully you can hit me up and talk about the session afterwards, and maybe I'll even see you in person. So here we are again, about to wrap up. Remember, you can hit me up on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, the podcast. There's the blog where we have the weekly roundup, but also the individual updates as well. There's the newsletter. Maybe you would like this content delivered in an email to your work, so it's sitting there Monday morning for you to have a read. And of course, you can use the links and get straight out to the materials. But folks, I hope I see you at Commsverse in a few days. If not, hopefully you'll check in for the video, and I'll see you again in a week or so.